Welcome to SAT TV News. I am Larry Larrock, your presenter. In our top stories, police investigating shooting incident. Haiti process turned violent. Iran nuclear talks. Tehran will not step back one iota. Details of these will follow. Welcome back. A creative arts and music symposium hosted by the Youth Development Division in collaboration with the Dominica Youth Business Trust and CUSO took place at the Public Service Union on November 19th as part of Youth Entrepreneurship Forum. On the Global Entrepreneurship Week, the theme administered for the forum was the economic power of creative arts and music.
Current entrepreneurs are busy seeking new means and strategies to grow their economic powers. Many of these young people are employed and they are employing their creativity and musical and artistic potentials to realize their life's dreams. Today gives each of you a chance to think outside of the ordinary, to explore the concept and techniques of doing business as unusual, and to network with others with like ambitions and passions.
She urged those present to make the day count, absorb as much possible, and to learn, dream, and aspire to transform them into economic powers. Nicole Dagger, CUSO International's Program Support Officer and Regional Recruitment Manager for the Caribbean, gave a brief description about the company and its work.
We are looking to focus on youth, largely access to justice for victims and offenders, participation in volunteerism, as well as the reason you guys are all here today, which is youth employment and entrepreneurship.
The International Developmental Organization works largely with volunteers and aims to eradicate poverty and inequality worldwide. John Roach, Acting Chief Youth Development Officer, addressed the economic power of creative arts and music, indicating that persons should move away from the traditional business ideas.
Too often, we tend to remain with the traditional business ideas. And so often, because of the level of competition that exists in those traditional ideas, people run out of ideas and things don't work, and we realize we're asking ourselves, why is it that I'm not doing well? It is because that we are trying to compete in a sector that is already saturated, a sector that we do not have the market to supply.
He is of the view that persons should use their God-given talents to create wealth for themselves.
I'm happy that we are targeting the schools, because the Dominica Youth Business Trust, what we are seeking to do is to ensure from a very early age that we expose our young people to skills that tomorrow will be what will become their economic empowerment. We want to get away from our young people going to school to be educated and to be employed by somebody else. And we know the market out there is saturated, the government, the private sector, unable to fulfill the job requirements of everybody. So it means that we have to create our own jobs.
The Youth Development Division pledges its continued support to activities centered on the development of Dominican citizens. In more news, Dominica will soon benefit from direct budgetary support under the 10th European Development Fund (EDF) Multi-Sector General Budget Support Program. An amount of €2.4 million is expected to be disbursed before the end of 2013. This is the second fixed tranche under the €8.46 million financing agreement between Dominica and the European Union. The first fixed portion of €3.2 million was disbursed earlier this year after the fulfillment of general conditions of satisfactory progress of the GSPS, Growth and Social Protection Strategy. The GSPS is the main tool to foster economic development and poverty reduction in Dominica, and the 10th EDF Multi-Sector Support Program will support its implementation. The specific objectives aim at supporting government to attain growth in the economy, to further generate jobs, reduce poverty, and improve the quality of life for all Dominicans. In other stories, Cancer Care Coordinator of the Dominica Cancer Association, Mrs. Vina Roy, is of the view that government needs to subsidize the cost of chemotherapy. According to her, the association is plagued by the lack of resources to help cancer patients, and the high cost of chemotherapy is adding to the problem.
There are many countries where chemotherapy is very, very heavily subsidized by government. We are looking forward to that in Dominica. A lot of the reasons why people don't come out is because of the cost. You know, at our AGM this weekend, we were observing that basically to do operation for breast cancer, you have to spend about $6,000. Hey, the ordinary person doesn't see $1,000 easy in her life. Much more to come up with $6,000 to pay to one doctor just for the operation. And then chemotherapy that will follow and radiation that will follow, it's another mountain. So a lot of people just cower in their little houses and they don't come forward when they have the signs that there is something for them to take note of.
Discussions with cancer patients reveal that they do not come forward for help as they simply cannot afford the cost of treatment. This is a mentality that needs to change, and the subsidies on chemotherapy will certainly aid in that regard, she noted.
I have somebody who just broke down when I said you have to do radiation, it means you have to go overseas. And it was like, how the lady can tell me that? Where I getting the money for me to go? And yet she needed to go because she is already advanced, right? So it is critical, it is urgent, and let's just pray that somebody can hear this appeal and think of the many mothers we have out there who are suffering in silence and help us.
Mrs. Roy added, the association will continue to advocate for free cancer care treatment. We now go to Acting Police Public Relations Officer Inspector Richmond Valentine for an update as it relates to a shooting incident in the village of Kalibishi.
On the morning of November 19, 2013, police officers stationed at Kalibishi Police Station conducted a search on the premises of Marlon Terimat, male, 20 years of Kalibishi, who was wanted by the police with respect to investigation into a series of burglaries in the Kalibishi area. During the search, a number of items liable to seizure were found. However, Marlon violently resisted the police officers during his arrest. The officers were armed at the time, and in the process, Marlon sustained a gunshot wound. He was transported to the Princess Margaret Hospital, where he was admitted. Investigation into the matter continues.
In more news, Honorable Ian Douglas, Minister for Tourism, has pledged Dominica's commitment to improving our tourism product, while the government continues negotiations with Carnival Cruise Lines to consider long-term returns to the island. This was communicated when Dominica welcomed the MV Carnival Conquest at the Roseau Cruise Ship berth on Monday, November 18th. The first Carnival Cruise Line vessel to call to the island since its pullout in 2010.
Dominica is always a very unique destination. It's unlike any of the other destinations that you will call because of our natural attributes. Of course, like speakers before me have said, we have reserved our best site for the organized tours generated from the ship, which is the Trafalgar Falls, that your passengers can go into and enjoy without the interference of the independents. And of course, there are lots of other choices that your independent passengers who choose not necessarily an organized tour, but an independent tour. We have the Champagne Reef Dive in the south, and we have the Mero Beach not too far away, probably about an hour's drive, and so many other natural features that Dominica boasts, a lot of rivers and waterfalls that your passengers can partake in. So,
he said, the ship calling to Dominica is a promising sign as they have enjoyed a 15 to 20 year relationship with the Carnival Corporation.
We had always hoped that we would have reunited again, and reunion is always very good. It's joyous, and we we are very pleased today to have you on our shores. Of course, I noticed that your crew was engaging in taking some water from us. We boast the best water in the world, and we hope that you will get the feedback from your passengers and you will let us know so that we can continue to improve the product. We have done a lot of soul searching. We have reviewed our product with a view to improving it so that your guests can have a once-in-a-lifetime experience in Dominica, because we recognize that while the Caribbean is basically sun, sand, and sea, Dominica provides a very unique experience in that mix, and Dominica probably is the destination that your passengers will enjoy features that cannot be seen or experienced anywhere else but in Dominica. And
according to the minister, Dominica is truly the nature isle of the world with unique features that cannot be found anywhere else. The ship is expected to call to Dominica for the next cruise season. However, Mr. Douglas is hoping to see an increase in Carnival cruise calls.
We are very in close contact with the itinerary planners. We have a very good relationship with the corporation, and while the ship has not been here, or while the corporation has not been here for the past 3 years, but we certainly know from negotiations, and we hope that this call will in fact spark more calls in the future. So welcome.
Thank you.
We hope that probably on another call we can invite you on shore yourselves, or some of your crew and some of your shore ex-people, so that they can actually experience the island firsthand. Because what is very unique about this port is a lot of the features, a lot of the natural and unique features of Dominica is about 15-20 minutes drive away from the port, so it's easy to experience away from the bridge. So some of your crew that's not actually on duty can come on shore and experience the spas in the Rosa Valley, experience the freshwater lake, the Trafalgar Falls, Emerald Pool. So very happy to have you. Welcome you once again.
Thank you
and we
very
hope
much.
that this is a start of great things to come.
Captain Franco Lafushi, captain of the MV Carnival Conquest, promised to write to his superiors, giving good reviews to Dominica as a destination. He said the return of Carnival would cement the position that the relationship between the Carnival Cruise Lines and Dominica has always been a very good one. In more news, Carriman, in collaboration with the Ministry of Education, has taken the initiative to develop strategies to curb the level of bullying that transpires in various schools in Dominica. Mr. Thomas Holmes, president of Carriman, addressed the students of the Convent High School on Wednesday, November 20th, educating them on the ways that bullying can be tackled. Close attention is being focused on cyberbullying, as this is the most prevalent type in our society, Mr. Holmes explained.
With the young ladies, one of the main aspects of bullying is cyberbullying. And then that is one of the things that we are addressing, especially when you talk about the boys are doing it too, But when we talk about bullying, cyberbullying, the girls more in that. And as you said, yesterday was International Men's Day. So I tied this in because we also want to keep our boys safe. And very often the boys are very much involved in bullying. And then we always tell them, do not bully their sisters, do not bully their girl peers, their parents and their mothers and so. But today is another special day. You have Universal Children's Day. And what is the best day to talk to children, to tell them to be safe and then not to bully others, not to disrespect others, because bullying is disrespecting.
It has been proven that children with low self-esteem are the ones engaged in bullying others. He therefore urged the students to deviate from such acts by respecting themselves as well as their classmates.
And I mentioned something that they should do to avoid or to prevent bullying. If somebody bullies them, we're asking them to talk to a teacher about it, talk to their peer about it, talk to their parents. Do not take on the bully. When somebody bullies you, the worst thing that you should do is to try to take on the person, because the person can become aggressive, because the person believes that he or she has more power than you. He or she is dominating you. So if you try to chastise or confront the person who's bullying you, then you will get yourself into more trouble.
He also encouraged the young ladies to refrain from retaliation and take charge of their lives by maintaining high self-esteem.
We see in the news that bullying is very prevalent in the United States and other countries. Would you say that the strategies that Carryman and the Ministry of Education has put in place or will put in place will prevent us from getting to that stage as the USA and the other countries?
Definitely. Number one, we do not have much of it, being a small population, but suicide is number one. And not just the United States, right there in the Caribbean. I was told about a 7-year-old who killed himself because he was being bullied in the Caribbean. Now in Dominica, we do not see students going as far as this, but then the hurt is there. You know, some of them I'm sure thinking of, I just want to end my life because I cannot take it anymore. Some of them are afraid to talk to their parents. That is why we have to develop a relationship. But the strategy that the Carryman wants to take with the Ministry of Education and parents is one of proactive measure. You know, what can we do in Dominica, in our schools, to prevent students from, committing suicide, prevent students from fighting, getting into situations where they may have to face expulsion and, go to court.
The Convent High School was the first school to create awareness and initiate policies to create anti-bullying societies. In other stories, as part of the DDA, the Discover Dominica Authority's efforts to reach 90,000 stayover visitors by 2015, a cruise conversion program coined Return and Win was launched at the Tourist Information Office on Wednesday, November 20th. The overall goal of this program is to convert cruise visitors to stayover visitors, offering an incentive upon their return. The DDA had over the years embarked on a Florida Caribbean cruise stay program, but it had not been successful compared to other destinations.
The primary objective of the campaign to increase stayover visitation and expenditure on islands through cruise conversion, to offer cruise visitors incentives to encourage their return to Dominica. And I had a secondary objective, which is to create a newsworthy item within the travel industry, more specifically the cruise sector, that puts Dominica on the map and also in the minds of cruise passengers looking for an itinerary and in the minds of stayover visitors.
The initial goal of the project is to acquire at least 100 passengers as stayover visitors. The DDA has sought partnership from private investors and will circulate the press releases to international media.
And then we're going to monitor the program throughout the cruise season and then evaluate at the end of the cruise season to see how successful we've been. In terms of participating and what's been required of the stakeholders, we're really looking for the local stakeholders to buy into the program and commit to the program. We opened participation to all the DDA certified properties and to the certified service providers.
Mr. Benoit Badwil, Chief Executive Officer of the Dominica Air and Seaport Authority, believes that the success of this program could boost the number of stayover guests on the island.
We know that we have about 300,000 passengers coming into Dominica, and so this is a ready market to begin to whet the appetite of the cruisers coming here so that they can get a sample of what Dominica is all about and come back for a holiday here in Dominica. We believe that that stayover program, with the monies that we are putting up, will in fact entice persons to come back and to spend more time to be able to enjoy the true vacation experience that we are offering them.
The DDA will put up the monies needed in the first instance, but hope that the private investors will come on board for further incentives. Through their website www.discoverdominica/returnandwin, they are hoping to gain a wealth of information from cruise passengers to aid in this initiative. To be a part of Return and Win, certified service providers, cruise passengers, and crew are invited to sign up at the Bayfront Visitor Information Office. This has been the local segment of the news. Coming up next, regional highlights.